You're looking at live pictures here from Capitol Hill, where the Senate is going to be holding its first hearing on comprehensive immigration reform, just hours after President Obama renewed his call to overhaul immigration policy and praised the bipartisan efforts going on in the Senate on the pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano will be testifying, as well as undocumented immigrant Jose Antonio Vargas. Let's bring in our gaggle. Bill Burton, former Obama White House spokesman and co-founder of Obama Super PAC, Priorities USA Action Fund. Beth Reinhardt from the National Journal, former Miami Herald reporter, spent a lot of time with Marco Rubio. And communications director for American Crossroads, Jonathan Collegio. You guys used to be able to have fight. Now it's like, no.
Now we're friends.
Beth, I want to start with you in the State of the Union. You guys did this fabulous word cloud at National Journal. Word cloud of Rubio's speech, word cloud of Obama's speech, and you look at these word clouds in Obama's speech, and then the big word that jumps out is jobs, which is exactly what the White House said that they were going to do it, and here with Rubio's speech, government, it was clearly that all that makes sense when you read the speeches. But when I'm looking at this word cloud, this is where a word cloud totally deceiving on what the impact of the President's State of the Union is, because the word gun doesn't even appear in it.
Right. I mean, in a speech that was really, sort of your typical State of the Union laundry list of goals that I'd, like to meet in my second term. That was really the one sort of emotional climax of the speech that I think, like you said, people will remember. And, even his tone of voice changed. It sounded almost more like he was talking at a campaign rally.
No, the wave of audience. And Bill, I mean, I'm sure they're glad of the emotional appeal, the successful appeal that they got a cynical crew of members of Congress to actually buy into a refrain, but it did step on the big message, jobs.
Well, I think that the president needed to do a bunch of things in that speech, and he was able to. And you can look at all these words, and you can look at the policies and pull them all out. And the president is much closer to where the American people are than where Republicans are on any one of those things. But overall, I think what the American people appreciate is a president who leads. And that was a leadership speech.
Jonathan, it goes to a point. He brought up this individual issues. And you will know this when you guys do your own survey. Of the individual things he said, they all are going to poll test very well. They're all due. They're 65% ideas, right? Everybody wants universal pre-K. The Republican message, Marco Rubio pushing, hey, government doesn't have all the answers, can't do this, we've got a debt problem. How do you balance this? It isn't popular necessarily what your message is sort of on the pocketbook front.
Well, on the pocketbook front, remember Gallup 2 days ago had the president's approval rating on the economy at 39%. And I kind of view this as eerily reminiscent of 2005. Remember, the 2004 election was about the war. It was basically voters gave President Bush the benefit of the doubt on the war. In 2012, voters gave President Obama the benefit of the doubt on the economy. If he doesn't get results now, I think that this is where the rubber really hits the road. And I think that the public support might sour. I thought we saw a kind of flat speech on jobs. And if the record continues that way, I think the public mood could sour.
Isn't that a fair analysis that is what, he's got to deliver now?
But the big difference is that in 2005, President Bush thought that he had a mandate to go and radically change Social Security. What President Obama is doing is a bunch of things the American people actually really want. And, sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
But what's important is that, he kept saying, well, let's have a vote on these things, because he knows that if there's a vote, Republicans have to support it, even universal background check.
Beth, were you surprised at Marco Rubio's speech that it was more combative maybe than I thought that it seemed that they were telling?
Well, I don't know that I agree with you that it was combative. I actually thought he, went out of his way to say, we're all American, we all love America. Right. He started off, making nice with the president. But certainly the bulk of the speech was sort of boilerplate, Republican agenda, and really what distinguished it was when he made it personal, talking about his parents, talking about his hometown. Right. That was what gave it a little bit of punch.
All right, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the Republican rift that, Jonathan, your group keeps causing, and some former members of your board, or maybe Haley's a current member of the board. We'll talk about that after the break. Trivia, we asked, since 1984, how many cabinet officials have been asked to skip the State of the Union more than once? The answer is just one, and it was Don Evans, who served as Commerce Secretary under President George W. Bush. Is the only cabinet secretary to serve as the designated survivor twice. He did it both in 2004 and 2005. We'll be right back.
Should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble.
I grew up with a pool in my backyard, but I did not put on a swimsuit because of my size. I like Weight Watchers because of the flexibility. I don't have to be perfect. It fits my life. I've lost 87 pounds on Weight Watchers. This is a body that I have never lived in before. I got the courage to learn how to swim. It's never too late to start anew.
Introducing the new Weight Watchers 360 program, built for human nature. Join for free and expect amazing, because it works.
What are happy kids made of? Bikes and balloons, wholesome noodles on spoons, a kite, a breeze, a dunk of grilled cheese, catches and throws, then SpaghettiOs. That's what happy kids are made of. Campbell's. It's amazing what soup can do.
My insurance rates are probably going to double.
But, Dad, you've got...
Allstate. With accident forgiveness, they guarantee your rates won't go up just because of an accident.
Smart kid.
Indeed. Are you in good hands?
Sleep apnea patients, do you hate the torture of your CPAP mask? Do you hate the annoying headgear that has to be tightened all night long? And the skin irritation, the sores, and the claustrophobia caused nightly by your CPAP mask? Then go to nomask.com. That's NOMASK.com to learn about an amazing FDA-cleared invention. Created by a sleep apnea patient, it's helped thousands find a solution to the nightly torture of CPAP. Go to nomask.com now and discover how this amazing product can...
Time to replace that thing you just keep repairing, that just keeps coming back to haunt you? Then it's time to call your local Lennox dealer. They can replace your old, outdated furnace or air conditioner with a high-efficiency Lennox system that can save you money.
Get more comfort for less this winter and all year round. Speak with a comfort specialist at Fox Air Heating and Air Conditioning.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Hurry in today to Sleepies President's Holiday Sale. For the first time ever, get a free box spring with every mattress in the store. That's right. Buy any mattress and get the new eco-friendly Titan box spring absolutely free. Plus, Sleepy's exclusive Ortho Posture is starting at just $279 for a queen-size mattress. That's 60% off. And you get the box spring absolutely free. Don't miss out on holiday savings now through President's Day. Only at Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
PetBeds, America's largest pet pharmacy.
We must have a renewed fight for many of the things we fought for, because voting rights and women's rights and the rights of people against discrimination, whether they're African American, Latino, lesbian, and gay, must be protected until we have a nation that is really living up to the creed of one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not all of one kind, but all.
Haley Barbour is the latest establishment Republican to take on the Club for Growth, privately telling donors last week not to give money to the group that often opposes strong Republican candidates in primaries. Well, let's bring back our gaggle: Bill Burton, Beth Reinhardt, Jonathan Collegio. Jonathan, this is what Crossroads, one of your board founders, Karl Rove, is pushing. You guys are opening some wounds and making it public. Is this healthy?
The message that gets lost here is that we've had substandard candidates on both sides, establishment candidates and Tea Party candidates. We want better candidates everywhere.
You want better primaries?
We want better primaries. We need better candidates that raise money, that don't have skeletons in the closet, and that are disciplined. We need to vet candidates on both sides. The problem is that the Tea Party examples are kind of the more spectacular ones. Those are the ones that went down in flames in a more public way. Right. And that's what's getting all the attention. But we need better candidates across the board.
But it's clear there are a lot of Republicans that are now, they were quietly upset. Now they're public.
Yeah, the reaction has been, almost energizing the exact...
Good for the club's business, though.
Right.
Club's probably raising more money off of this.
I'm sure both sides are. I mean, the sort of the grassroots activists, they really resent being told, us smart people in Washington know who's the best
Bill Burton,
for you.
Does feel like Howard Dean, 2004?
Well, I feel like
when there was a little bit of that in 2005?
I feel like a lot of credit should go to the DSCC and the DCCC, actually, for being able to recruit candidates who are disciplined and can raise money and do all the things that Jonathan's talking about. There's been a problem on the Republican side on that.
Shameless plugs. Mr. Burton, go.
Mine is for Jen Psaki.
How about that?
One of the great members of the Obama administration.
But you go to Treasury, not State. She ends up at State.
Big job.
Crossroads GPS will be launching a Mystery Science Theater version of the State of the Union speech tonight. Check it out on our YouTube page.
It was something that would have been funny last night. Anyway, go ahead.
You've read a lot about Senator Rubio in recent weeks. Yeah. A lot. Definitive take on the cover of National Journal Friday.
It's Beth Reinhardt. Remember him back when he was just a mere state speaker. That's it for this edition of the Daily Rundown. Tomorrow on the show, former Senate Majority Leader Tom Dasch.